How's it going? Monday morning quarterback 194. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been getting a lot of great feedback at the racetracks that people are dialed back in and watching. So that's why we're doing these every week again. We did them every week for a couple years and then kind of did them just during the off season, and it seemed like you guys really like seeing them every week. So we're doing them every week. We're a mix of in the shop here, in my shop at home, and really just going off of the feedback that you're giving us and what you want to see and what you want to know. So speaking of what you want to know, a couple questions that came in since last week's episode that I want to answer. The first is there a way within PitLogic to share a profile? For instance, two brothers, they both have PitLogic, but they want to share. So yes, there is a Teams feature where you can invite somebody to your team and you can share as much or as little of your PitLogic data as you can. So for example, a bigger team that uses it, like Clausen Marshall, like their tire guy just has the tire setup stuff that he can enter so the crew chief can see. Or if there's like co-crew chiefs, or it's just a small father-son team, like me and my dad taking Hudson Racing, we can share everything. So yeah, there's a Teams feature that Kevin built out a few years ago, and it works really, really well. So if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or Kevin Crum could do that as well. The other question was, how often do I take apart my birdcage bearings and re-grease them? So typically every 2 to 3 races, get them out, clean them, re-grease them. Most of the racing we do, like, you don't want to pack those bearings super tight. That's just drag. I typically don't put as much grease in them. I don't totally fill them, and I like to keep it clean and fresh, and obviously we're racing in dirt and harsh environments, so I do that every 2 or 3 races, go through those. So good questions. Tonight's topic is the difference between tubular and gun-drilled torsion bars. We've gotten a lot of questions about that. A lot of the different brands offer both tubular or gun-drilled, and so we did a little video in the shop kind of diving into that. We will cut to that now and then come back and close this episode out. All right, we've been getting a lot of questions about the difference between tubular bars and gun-drilled bars. What's better, what's worse? And so thought this would be a good opportunity just to break down the key differences between the two types of bars. So several brands, we sell Chalk and Schroeder, but several brands offer a tubular bar or a gun-drilled bar. Gun-drilled bars came in the market 25 years ago. Tubular bars about 10 years before that. And prior to that, everybody used a solid bar. So tubular bar, a lot of guys went that way. It was just lighter. That's pretty much the industry standard now in our markets. Nobody runs a solid torsion bar. But like I say, 25 years ago, I think it might have been Schroeder was the first to come out with a gun-drilled bar. And so what is a gun-drilled bar? So gun-drilling, the torsion bar is made of a different material than the tubular bar, and you can only get that material in solid. So to make it hollow, they use a gun drill machine, and they drill all the way through the bar. So what are the advantages of that? You can argue that one material is better than the other. Some people love the way a tubular bar feels. The gun-drilled people say that material is better for torsion bars. It lasts longer. So I'm not a metallurgist. We could probably argue one or the other that the material tubular bars is made of versus the material the gun-drilled bars is made of is better. We won't argue those facts today. You'll have to try and figure out what feels different. They do dyno slightly different. But as far as the manufacturing process, there's a much larger tolerance on a tubular bar. So you can imagine as they're extruding that tubing, it's not a fine finish inside, and there's inconsistencies with the wall thicknesses when they go and they machine this bar down. So the ID of that bar can vary a lot more with a tubular bar. From batch to batch, mill run of material to mill run of material. I think the tolerance on the tubing is like plus or minus like 8 thousandths, right? So that's like a 16 thousandths window. So if this is turned down to a certain diameter to give you a certain spring rate, but then you have one bar that has a 10 thousandths bigger hole through it because of the variance in the tubing, that obviously that bigger hole is going to give you a softer bar rate. The gun drill, that's a machined process, so they can hold a much tighter tolerance than just extruding the tubing. So these are both 10-15 bars. This is a gun drilled Schroeder, and I went through and checked a bunch of them, and they were all within like 736, 737, and then on the tubular bars, the same bar, and it's 734, 735. Okay, so this one has a little bit smaller hole. A thou or two, you're not really going to notice a difference on the bar dyno, but if it's 10 thou difference, you will notice a spring rate difference, and that's not to knock any brand of bar. Again, we prefer the Chalk and Schroeder, that's what we sell, but whether you're buying DMIs or Strange, if it's a tubular bar, there's a certain level of tolerance there that the mill has to keep, and it is larger than a gun drilled bar. So whatever your preference is, you know, we have customers that are very successful on national tours with both styles of bars. The big thing is I don't believe in mixing and matching, whether it's brands, because the effective length, which is this measurement, the turn down part, the effective length varies from brand to brand. You know, Schroeder's standard bar is a 24, Chalk's a 23. I believe DMI offers both, Schroeder offers both. So you start mixing effective lengths, that's going to be a huge difference in spring rate as well. So find what you want to use, stick with it, keep it consistent in the car, and replace those bars every 20-25 nights. Your race car will thank you for it. All right, so I hope you guys got something out of that. A couple things to keep in mind. As I mentioned in that video, different effective lengths will change the spring rate as much or more than different thicknesses of bars. Like we talked about the variance in tubing thicknesses. So yeah, keep fresh bars in your race car. It is a wear item, just like the tires on your race car. Unfortunately, you can't visually see when it's wore out, like when your right rear tire is wore out. 20-25 nights, put fresh bars in there. Your car will react to changes and turns better and just handle overall better. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. It's totally free for you, but it helps us get the word out. Ring the bells for notifications so you'll know anytime we do a new Monday Morning Quarterback or any other cool video here at CSI. Hope you all have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you at a track soon.